What's up, guys? It's me again. Hope you had a wonderful whatever holidays is coming up for you at this time. Unfortunately, work for me never ends, so I will be doing episode 21 today, environmental hazards. So, what are these environmental hazards? Well, to put it simply, these are things on the stage that if you come in contact with, you'll suffer some awful status effect like stun, slow, damage, and so on. Right now, I have a total of 4 of these environmental hazards on the brain. They are lightning, fire, ice, and bomb. So fire will deal damage over time to you when it consumes you. Speaking of damage, yes, this game will feature health and energy bars eventually. So when I say damage or power, that's what I'm talking about. So, back to it. Ice freezes you. It doesn't deal damage, but after you unfreeze, your speed will sort of crash for a few seconds until the status effect wears off. Lightning. Oh, lightning. Lightning will stun you a little longer than ice and will also deal damage over time while you are stunned. Bomb. Bomb is just a damage machine. That's it. That's the status effect. It deals a ton of damage and basically leaves you to your own devices. With that out of the way, it's time to actually create these status effects. Of course, we haven't created the health system just yet. I was thinking of doing that in the next episode, so for now, we won't really be able to see the health impact of all of these status effects. But this episode will basically focus on the animation and effect size of things. Alright, so let's do this. First things first, we are going to be creating fire. I noticed something very interesting as I started creating this fire. My game still looks bare bones as hell. Can you believe that for the fire effect, I wanted to move it so that when he hits the environmental hazard, which was supposed to be a red cube by the way, the character turns slightly redder to sort of indicate that he's now on fire? Like, this project so far is supposed to be a template. Everything here will eventually be replaced with something much cooler, something more aesthetically pleasing, but at this point I am sort of conflicted on that. I mean, why can't I just make the game look cool now? A few people have actually asked me that, little by little, no. On second thought, I'm gonna keep the game the way it is right now, adding the cool factors, whenever it's relevant, or saving them for later. It's not the time for the game to look cool, and adding actual textures, particle effects, and all that might just complicate the main game itself. What's worse, it might even be a waste of time since I'm going to probably end up changing it in the future anyway. Alright, with that decided, this red cylinder here is going to represent the fire environmental hazard. I'm going to make it so that hitting this will turn my character slightly red, signifying the burning status effect. So I'm going to create a script called status effect, add it to this cylinder and modify it so that when my character interacts with it, it causes whatever designated status effect it's supposed to cause. Alright, that's done, so let's test it out. It works! My character actually turns slightly red, he's burning. Pretty cool. So let's move on to the next one, ice. So the ice status effect is probably going to be the most complex one. Like when you get hit by this light blue cylinder, you freeze for a few seconds, turn blue, and when you unfreeze, you'll be slow until the status effect wears off. So I'm going to go ahead and modify my script to create the desired effect. Alright, this is done, so let's test it out. Yes! I actually did not think it would work on the first try. This is so awesome. As you can see, it turns blue and slows down the character when you come in contact with it. So with ice done, we will now move on to bomb. This black cylinder here will represent the bomb. When you hit this, it will knock back your character and deal damage. So let's modify the script to create that effect. Alright, I think that should work now. This one was a little tricky, but let's test it out and see it in action. Okay, it works. It's a standard explosion. Of course, in its rudimentary, of course, in its basic form right now. So with bomb done, let's move on to the final environmental hazard, lightning, represented by this purple cylinder. I saved lightning for last because it's the only one of these status effects that will have a unique animation. So I'm going to head over to Cascadle and create this animation. I'll be right back. Alright, so that's done. This is the animation I'm left with. The tiny vibrations were a lot harder to create than they look, just in case you thought you could, sleep on that. But anyhow, it's done. I will add this animation to my animation controller and modify my script to get it all working. Whew! Okay, after a glaring couple of hours, it's finally done. Let's test it out and see what we get. Wow, that looks beautiful. Came out exactly how I wanted. So that's it for this video, guys. I know this is an ultra long video. The video seemed to just keep getting longer. The 4 status effects have been created. As usual, the store animation is available on my Patreon if you want to go get it there. And when I finally start making the game more aesthetically pleasing, I will have a whole bunch of new stock on that Patreon. You can bet on that. Thank you very much for watching, guys. We're only adding health in the next episode, so that way we can see the full effect of these animation hazards. Check my Patreon, guys. There's a lot for you: models, animations, your very own in-game cameo, tutorials, and so much more on the way. I appreciate all the help I can get. Hope you have a great day. God bless, and I will see you in the next one. Peace.